After a rather eventful few months and watching other competitors do their best to dethrone the Steam Deck through lowering their prices, offering smaller form factors with immediate docking solutions, and other features that the Steam Deck lacks, it has become clear to me that no other competitor out there can truly compete with the Steam Deck, and this is for a lot of reasons. This video will be dedicated to talking about why the Steam Deck is the very first option I would suggest when it comes to portable PC gaming over any other handheld out on the market right now. This will change eventually, of course, but so far Valve has a stranglehold on this industry. Let's dive in. So this video is going to be mostly praising the Steam Deck for what it is, as I've already made a full review on the Steam Deck, which covers the positives and any negatives, which you can check out here in the description, where I discussed the pros and cons of the Steam Deck. Now with that said, let's get right into the video. The exterior design consists of plastic for the entirety of the build. This is a pretty massive device, which makes it great for exactly what it's meant for. And sad as it is to say, right now this is almost necessary in order to make the most out of a portable experience. This device, however, is still very ergonomic and very comfortable to use overall. And thanks to everything that it features on the outside, it does have more features than the competition. Things like the fantastic buttons, the fantastic trackpads, and this gigantic screen that does look very good. This device does not compromise on ergonomics, even at the cost of the form factor, and that's okay, but I do still wish to see a Steam Deck Mini in the future for people like me who do want a smaller device. So this device features a pretty good IPS display, and it is pretty large as it's sized at close to 8 inches, I believe. It's not an overly saturated when it comes to colors, but the colors are definitely very pleasant, and I do enjoy playing games using this display. Everything looks great on it, and I have no complaints about the screen at this point. It's a pretty cinematic experience too because of the large screen. It's truly a sight to behold, and I think many people will appreciate that. So this device features Zen 2 CPU, which is a quad-core 8-thread CPU running at 2.4 gigahertz at the base, and it can go up to 3.5 gigahertz. The GPU is an RDNA 2 GPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of storage for my particular unit. Now let's quickly talk about performance in Steam games and in emulation. So when it comes to performance in the most demanding PC games that I can think of, at least, or that I have in my library, we do get pretty good performance here. With something like Final Fantasy 15, you get a really good frame rate with smooth gameplay while rendering a full open world. This is a big deal as no other device, even hundreds of dollars more expensive, is capable of doing this. And this performance boost is really what makes the Steam Deck so special. This is a true gaming device that costs $400 at the base, completely outclassing almost every other competitor when it comes to the pricing to performance. Same goes with games like Nier Automata, as it runs at 68 FPS or close to it with no problem at 720p high settings, and it does run this game like nothing. Now when it comes to Dark Souls 3, this is going to be another game that looks great and runs beautifully on the Steam Deck. So even though you will be needing pixel perfect input when it comes to your movements and that kind of thing in this game, you will definitely still get that as you do get very good performance on the Steam Deck, and again, you do have very good controls to go along with that. I would say that Valve has just achieved a really great thing here. And this is even an emulation monster. You can emulate up to PlayStation 3, and I decided to emulate Demon's Souls here to really push the system as much as possible. And while there are some performance issues, with enough tweaking, you should be able to have a fairly smooth gaming experience overall. I talked about this in greater detail in my review, so I recommend that you check it out. But yes, emulation is handled beautifully here as well. So battery life will greatly vary depending on what kind of load you're putting on the hardware. So expect about 3 to 4 hours, which is much better than what most other portable gaming PCs like this one can offer right now. And speaking of which, it really is the competition so far that makes me appreciate the Steam Deck even more. Right now, the Steam Deck is also available for retail, so you can just order one like you would on any other site, so it's way easier to get than before. But I've been able to test out two competitors as these devices are really expensive. So I don't have a vast collection to compare it to, unfortunately. For example, I have the Win 600 from Anbernic, which runs at $475 at the max, and the GPD Win 3, which costs around $1,300. So both of these are more expensive than the Steam Deck, but they don't offer the same or greater value for the most part. The Win 600 simply doesn't compete in terms of performance, as it can max out at around PlayStation 3 for the most recent generation that it can emulate at a playable state, but it's mostly a machine for lower to mid-range games like indie titles, pixel-based titles, and PlayStation 2 ports, for example. Then there is the GPD Win 3, which is way more expensive than even the highest end Steam Deck. Battery life is worse, performance and optimization is slightly worse, and the display is not as good. In fact, things look more blurry on the Win 3 than they do on the Steam Deck, but you do get a better form factor, full Windows already included, a built-in physical keyboard, and things like that, which I do value having still. But is it really worth the extra cash? I mean, you can buy about 3 Steam Decks at the baseline for what you would be paying for the GPD Win 3, for example. So I'm not really too sure about that, and you would still be getting better performance with the Steam Deck, even if it's just a little bit better. And this is due in part that it is going to be an older device, but the Steam Deck still achieves too much at its price point. I will be testing out the Aya Neo Air Pro at some point, since it looks like the machine of my dreams, and then revisiting my thoughts on this. But the Steam Deck just doesn't have proper competition right now. So yeah, the Steam Deck is currently the king, as no other device can compete at this price point or even close to it. I don't love everything about the Steam Deck, like I do wish that the Steam Deck was smaller, for example, but everything that it offers is really nice. You won't get a better product right now in terms of design, performance, and price. So if you've been looking at the competition and considering other alternatives right now, I would just look at the Steam Deck. But this will change eventually, and I do look forward to seeing how far the market advances within the next year. So thank you so much for watching this video all the way up until the very end. I do very much appreciate it. Now, I am going to be leaving affiliate links to the GPD Win 3, since it is available on Amazon down below. And also, if you do want the Anbernic Win 600, then affiliate links to Anbernic's own website down below too. If you were to use any of those links, you would really be helping the channel out, so I would very much appreciate that. So thank you so much. Also, please make sure to follow me on Instagram, of course, as I do like to post over there if you would like to keep up. Now, there are going to be some announcements to be made eventually. I'm probably saying this way ahead of time, but yeah, I do have plans for this channel, and I think that they're going to be pretty cool. Now, with that said, please look forward to the next video, which is going to be on the Anbernic RG353V, which I finally got. And until next time, have a good one.